You're listening to the Orange Power Podcast, a product of Oklahoma State Athletics. Here are your hosts, Jessica Maury and the voice of the Cowboys, Dave Hunziker.
With Coach Boynton as we work our way through the month of December into conference play starting at the beginning of January, as you think about this team moving forward, we're getting close to conference play. Where do you see the best potential for growth?
Just consistency on the offensive end, and it's something you're going to have to deal with as a coach when you have a big change in your roster. Obviously, we had a star player, and everybody accepted him as a star and knew that we would run things through him. And then you got a lot of guys coming back who expect to step into a larger role. Maybe not his role, but then you also bring in other guys. And it takes some time for those guys to mesh, get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and then be able to play to those strengths and stay away from those weaknesses. And that's something we're fighting through right now. But I'm confident that once the calendar turns and we get into conference play, we'll have that all sorted out.
You know, it's interesting. You have so many good players that I'm sure trying to find the combinations that work together, that might change from game to game. What combinations are best? I mean, that probably takes some time to navigate, doesn't it?
Yeah, and early in the season, you're playing so many different styles and you're not really focusing on the other team as much because you're focusing on trying to get your units together. And then you have things come up like illnesses or injuries, and that throw a little bit of a wrinkle into your plan. And so you just got to be able to adjust. And then once you get into a rhythm and flow, like I said, hopefully once the calendar turns, we'll settle. We'll know exactly what we have, and guys will understand exactly what we need from them for our team to have success.
When the game is played fast, you're really, really good. The games which you've lost have been played at a slower pace. So how do you manage that? What are the best solutions to handle those teams that really want to play at a snail's pace?
Well, I think the saying goes, it's easier to slow somebody down than speed them up. But I do believe that defensively we can be more aggressive in playing in the full court and extending the floor and almost forcing teams to make decisions quicker and to have to maybe decide whether they're going to take an open early shot versus playing against our half-court defense, which has been really good. And if we can get teams to take quicker shots, which teams have been tending to slow themselves down, we can get more possessions out of the game that way.
Woody Newton came off the bench. You were dealing with some injuries. Obviously, you had a bit of an offensive struggle midway through the second half, and you were trying to figure out what to do against that Xavier zone. But he came off the bench and hit a couple of shots. And he'd been playing some, but not a lot. Talk, if you would, about what he was able to pull off under those circumstances.
Yeah, I've talked about it before. One of the things that we knew we needed to address in the offseason was our ability to consistently make shots from the outside. And we've known Woody and watched him grow, and he's certainly at 6'9", has the ability to be a floor stretcher and a guy who can create space by his ability to make shots from the three-point line. But it took him a while, and it's still working through him, learning our system and the pace of play and all that stuff. So I know people would say, well, why didn't you just put this guy in? Well, it's still, you got to play both sides of the court. It's not like we can put him out there to make some shots and then take him out. But he's getting to a point a month into the season where he's more comfortable with what we do, and I do think that his ability to make shots will be something we can really, really count on as we move forward.
You know, it's interesting. It is quite a transition for him. He was at Syracuse where they play all zone. We talked to him about that in the postgame on the radio against Xavier, and he talked about what basically a 180 it's been for him on the defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, it's probably hard for people to understand how different playing true zone all the time versus playing an up-tempo, aggressive, pressure defensive man-to-man team. It's like playing a different sport. The way you have to stand, the way you have to move, the engagement of your mind, it takes a totally different approach. And, he's taking some time to learn that. And again, he's one of the new guys, learning his teammates, learning our system, not just on the defensive end, but also offensively.
It's interesting. The flip side of that, as we talked about it, was he probably has a better understanding of playing against zone and where to get shots because he played against it every day, and he discussed that as well. It's really interesting to hear him talk about that.
Oh, there's no doubt. And Woody's really a really high IQ basketball player in general. He's got very good instincts, but again, understanding how to compete at this level and everyday fight and try to make sure you put yourself in best position, whether it be taking charges, which you don't necessarily do as much in the zone, whether it be having to block out a specific person, which you don't always have to do. You just really concerned about your area. But offensively, he does understand how to attack, where to get the ball to make it most effective.
You do not play a game this weekend, but you have a very important team event, the graduation of Bryce Williams. He's a great story, and I understand all the guys are going. Everyone's going to the graduation ceremony?
Yeah, we think it's really important that our guys always understand, and we discussed this before the show, the business of college athletics continues to get more and more aggressive on that side, but the real value here is the opportunity to educate these kids and put them in position where they can be successful when they're done playing sports. And Bryce Williams graduating will be one of the all-time stories of my coaching career, no matter how many games I win. And so I'm looking forward to seeing him walk across the stage and shake Dr. Strum's hand and see his teammates there cheering for him and excited about that accomplishment for him.
He's taken some body blows. It's not been an easy journey for him, so it really is a neat story.
Oh, there's no doubt. And, the truth is this will be something, I'm not sure he understands the value of it now, but when he's a parent and when he's doing something professionally in his life, he'll look back and I hope he'll have a great understanding of the value that this experience has been for him, and that the topping on the cake, getting his degree, is the thing that he's going to be able to stand on for the rest of his life.
So following up graduation weekend, Cleveland State will be here on Monday. What do you know about the Vikings?
A really good team, two-time Coach of the Year, and a very good friend of mine, Dennis Gates. He's one of the up-and-coming stars of our profession. Team that's won, had a lot of experience back. I think they're the second most experienced team in the country, according to the number of guys who've played games at this level before. So it'll be a team that comes in here expecting to win. They're not going to be surprised by playing in a place like Gallagher, because they do this often. And they're a team that's going to be well prepared and well coached. They got great length and athleticism, and they're really, really good defensively.
So yeah, style-wise, what do they look like?
They're probably a moderately paced team. They don't like to play slow, but they're really aggressive on the defensive end, and they do force a lot of turnovers, and they switch a lot. But I do think that they will try to get out and run some, because they know that our defense is good in the half court as well. So I think we'll expect an up-tempo game more so than the ones we saw last week.
Coming up, Casey Kendrick with women's head coach Jim Littell. Stay with us.
Academy Sports and Outdoors has the gifts to make this your most fun Christmas ever. From game tables to bikes to team sports, and the best from Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour, golf, and grills. We've got everybody covered this holiday. Merry Christmas from everyone at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
There are a great many things that can be found on the road. A giant blue whale in central Oklahoma. Musicians in search of that perfect melody. You'll even discover the center of the universe. You'll find stories of lives led, challenges met, and men who raise pigeons. They're all out there waiting to be discovered. All you have to do is follow the road. Phillips 66. Live to the full.
Decorative towel.
There was a mess. I wiped up a mess.
Yeah, you...
Where is the box? Never mind, I found it.
Welcome back, football fans. We'll see you in the fridge.
Hello, sweet babies. Welcome to your new home. You have changed our life, and you may even change the world. And because of you, 2021 is the best year ever. Mercy has helped moms deliver babies for nearly 200 years. To find out how to welcome your baby at Mercy, visit mercy.net/OSUmom.
At OG&E, the energy we deliver is more than electrical. We energize education by supporting schools to help our children reach their potential. So every time you see Big Orange out there working for you, remember we're also working to turn power into empowerment. Because at OG&E, we do more than energize a power grid. At OG&E, we energize life.
Welcome back to Orange Power Podcast. I'm Casey Kendrick, and let's turn our attention to women's basketball and bring in the head coach for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, Coach Jim Littell. And Coach, welcome to the podcast. Obviously a little different this year, but kind of exciting.
It is. It's a great setup, and looking forward to doing these this year.
So let's talk about some Cowgirl basketball. Let's. I know you've done some of this already, but let's talk a little bit about just the season and get everybody caught up to where we are right now. This is a program with the roster that you have. You've got a lot of young kids, and young's not even the exact word. It's more inexperienced. You've got a senior that's starting, but for her first time starting. You've got kids that were played a role last year as freshmen, but now as sophomores, a lot has been asked of them. So the roster it's a little unique from that perspective.
It definitely is. A lot of new faces this year. Some players that have been in the program, but they're asked to have different roles, going from support players to starters, and it's been a change, and we're working through a lot of different situations, but kids are playing hard and competing, and I like the progress that we're making.
Let's talk about the fact that you don't have that kid that exponentially better than everyone else. There's no Andrea Riley right now. There's no Natasha Mack. You've got a bunch of kids that can contribute in different ways. And while that is good because it creates balance that becomes difficult to guard, on the flip side of that, you still want somebody to kind of seize the moment so that when a game comes down in the clutch, you do have a go-to kid. And it would appear you're still trying to establish that.
It is. Lauren Fields is probably our most experienced player in terms of minutes and playing in the Big 12, playing in the NCAA tournament. So she's one that's really stepping up and doing a nice job. And when you need a tough basket, Lowe's got the ability and the courage to step up and take the shot.
Well, and you look at, again, your guard heavy. This is a team that has a lot of talented guards. And quite honestly, there's not a ton of separation from your top guard to maybe your fourth or fifth guard. Again, that can be good or bad, right? I mean, if they're all great, that's a great thing. If they're not, it's not a good thing. But what you have is a team that really allows you to create some depth because you've got some options on the bench as well.
We've been playing a lot of people. In the past, we've played 8 or 9 players here, and we've played up to 12 and 13 so far. And part of it is what you talk about, not a big separation, but part of it we're searching for somebody to emerge as a go-to player, and consistency is what we're looking for. So at this point, that's why we've played a lot of people.
Well, and inside, obviously you don't want to be the kid that replaces the great one, right? Natasha Mack was a great player. And for Cassidy Lapp, those are huge shoes to fill. And she's trying to figure that out a little bit. She's very coachable. She's been a very strong-minded kid, has really done everything you've asked. And she's still searching, and you can tell she's trying to feel her way to fill the role that you need her to.
Yeah, Cass needs to change a little bit in the respect. She's the ultimate team player. She's always looking to pass first, always looking to set a teammate up. She does a good job of facilitating the basketball for being a big kid, but now we need her role to change, and she needs to look and seek more shot opportunities. She needs to go to 10 points a game, and we're talking to her, and she's making an attempt to work through that.
You look at, again, inside with Taylon Collins at the 4. Coach, she's got Tony Young talent and athleticism, Andrea Riley type talent. She is a tremendous kid. Again, a very fun kid to be around, too. She's got a great personality. She needs to figure out, the only thing she needs to figure out, it would seem, is just how good she really is. There are times, and you said this the other day in the postgame, she's got a couple of 3 wow moments per ball game. She really does. There are times when she elevates over somebody in front of her above the rim and takes the ball away from somebody who should have had it, and you just look at her and go, man, you are really, really special.
No, that's the case, and we talked in film the other day that we need to put more wow moments together, and Tay hasn't figured out how good she could be yet, but she works hard, and she's very, very coachable, will look you in the eye, wants to absorb everything that you're saying, and it'll come in time, but the wow moments will increase as her career goes on.
You've had obviously got a class of freshmen still trying to earn that opportunity. One young lady that's done that's been Macy James. She's been fun to watch. Her growth has seemed to be very quick. Her curve seems to be a little smaller than maybe some of the other players.
Well, she came in as a top 100 player in the country, and I think when she first got here, there was a little bit about being away from home and a little homesick, but she's settled in really nice now and great teammate. She's the one that's got a chance to be a lockdown defender, and her offensive game continues to get better each day.
Let's talk about your schedule. When you think about Cowgirl basketball, again, I've been around for a long time. Typically, you're going to leave once or twice, maybe 3 times in a non-conference season. You're going to bring in a lot of teams, and there's a lot of games that usually mount the W's. This year, you didn't do that. You guys were very deliberate after some of the seasons maybe where you felt like you weren't seeded properly. You guys went out on a limb and said, all right, fine, we're going to take on some really good teams, and we're going to go on the road. 5 of your first 7 games have been away from Gallagher-Iba. Again, in my 27 years, I don't think I've ever seen that. It's a challenging schedule.
It is a challenging schedule, and to be quite honest, I look at the teams around the league, and if we would be playing their schedules, we'd probably be 5-2 right now, or 6-1 at this point. And but we did choose to go that route, and we've put ourselves in a place where our kids can gain a lot of experience playing different types of teams, going on the road, playing at neutral sites, playing a lot of teams that have traditionally been in the NCAA tournament. So it's not an easy schedule, and we're trying to navigate through it and get our kids a lot better, and also help them gain confidence as we go.
Well, I mean, you even started with a Colorado team out of the Pac-12 that beat Stanford a year ago. You played Missouri State. That was a terrific win. That's a team that's going to win a lot of games, a near top 25 type of team. Auburn, at Tennessee as well. I mean, so what you have done and what you have seen undoubtedly will help prepare your kids when they face Big 12 teams, because you've seen Big 12 caliber a lot already.
No, we have, and we went into Auburn, and they're rebuilding their program, but they had 2 special players, really, really good players. Tennessee has had a lot of quality wins already. Green Bay's been a tournament team consistently each year. So, yeah, we've challenged ourselves. We've come up short on some of it, but our kids are gaining a lot of valuable experience at this point.
Well, I want to talk a couple more things before we wrap it up. You went out to Vegas, and Vegas is a fun destination for most of those kids. I think every kid that I asked, I don't know, probably 4 or 5, had never been out there. And so sometimes you go to Cancun. We've been to the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico. You like to take kids somewhere that's a little unique for them. Maybe they haven't been. Let them and see what culture's like. And Vegas has its own culture, so it is a little different, but kind of a fun trip. I know it wasn't the results, win-loss you wanted, but that's kind of the purpose of those trips.
No, it is. You want your players at the end of 4 years to look back and say, hey, I had a great experience at Oklahoma State. During that time, I got to go here. I got to go here. A few years back, we took our team to Australia. I think we're in the business of winning games and getting kids degrees and also creating experiences that they'll remember for the rest of their life.
Yeah, good trip. I know it's not the result you wanted, but again, 2 very good teams out there. Now we have a stretch where, again, a little bit of a time to work and time off. Now you've got some academics and some finals in the middle of that as well. But a stretch where 2 things can happen. One, the confidence and the wins can come together. And the other thing that I think that makes Oklahoma State so special, especially with Cowgirl basketball, is the connection between you and the fans. You guys have not had a chance to play in front of these fans a lot. So this is the time when that connection and that bond starts to form, and you have that opportunity now.
Definitely, and with the COVID year a year ago also, where a lot of fans did not feel comfortable coming back to the arena. We hope that a lot of our longtime fans will be there for this homestand and help support our kids. And we need that. I think that'll be a big factor in these games when we're coming home. So again, more challenges with Southern. We've got North Texas bringing an experienced team in, UT Arlington, who beat South Florida, and an undefeated Tulsa team right now. So we've got a lot of good games here, and I think the fans would really enjoy it.
Yeah, and I know you won't just take those for granted just because maybe they're not Tennessee or Auburn. This team needs to get that confidence you're talking about. What's the emphasis as we let you go? What's the emphasis between now and that Southern game? Extended period of time off. What are you working on the most?
Well, we got to get back to defending the way we were. We spent a lot of time trying to get our offense in order, and we forgot our identity a little bit. So we got to get back to defending, and we got to continue to work to improve on the offensive end. And it sounds pretty simple, but we got to make shots, Casey.
Well, Coach, looking forward to visiting with you throughout the course of the season. Best of luck with the upcoming games and throughout the rest of the year.
Appreciate it, Casey.
Hey, that's going to do it for us. I want to say thanks to Coach Jim Littell for being here. Appreciate you guys tuning in as well. Appreciate you watching and listening on the Orange Power Podcast.